So I got a copy. I got a chance to read her book this week. It's short. It's a very easy read. A lot of really good information. The cure for divorce culture. And one of the sections in there, you talk about it's never too late to co-parent. So I think every single family law attorney, no matter the nature of their practice, they get very bitter parents coming in
Yes.
to their office, and it's
Yes.
I've been slighted, the kid's been withheld, they did this, they're not giving me this. What is your best advice in terms of moving from a relationship where it's negative and it's going to impact the child or children to a more positive co-parenting relationship?
All right, the holidays are about to come up, so let's just use this as a reference. Aunt Bertha pissed you off 5 years ago with something that she said. By Christmas 5, you're not as mad at Aunt Bertha anymore. You're just really not. You don't care. There's been 5 years of life that's happened in between then and now. I mean, just think about your own life and people that have entered into your life where they rubbed you the wrong way at some point in time, or some massive thing went down, maybe even with a coworker. Generally, though, in families, that's a good context to think about it, because these are people you have to spend, the rest of your life with if they're your family. And so, and if you have kids, that's unfortunately what you're kind of signing up for. And so,
Lifetime contract.
It is. And so if you just allow yourself to, when you realize that it's, maybe you were real hyped up about it in the moment and things were really bad then, but we're way down the road now, right? And it might have been terrible. I mean, it may have been absolutely terrible, but we're down the road now. And you find yourself like not caring as much, not being as mad, but you feel like, you can't really go back and just offer that little olive branch. Just try, just do it. See what happens. It's not going to hurt you to see what happens. If the other person does not accept, then fine, but it is never too late. So over time, parents are going to start to realize these statistics and what's happening. And the children themselves, I have so many adult children of divorce that come to me off of this book and off of my research and are like, how do I open this conversation up with my parents? To basically be like, what the heck? That's essentially what they're going to come to say, especially because a lot of these children in their college programs, just through like life classes, or if they're in criminal justice or political science, are finding their parents' court orders and reading them as, somewhat adults in life in college. That's not a pleasant conversation. It's just not. So over time, parents are going to start to realize this, and naturally they're going to start to give those olive branches later in life, maybe around grandchildren number 1, like way down the road, they're able to finally be like, let's do this right from today forward. And do this right means this. It is very simple. This is the answer. You have to respect the parent that is the other parent of your child. That's all you've got to do. You just have to respect them. That means 2 things. When you're talking about them in front of your child, you have to be respectful. And when you're talking about them to anybody else except for your spouse or close family members where you can truly say what's on your mind, you do not say bad things about them. If you will do that, your children will be so much better. Because when they hear you saying that, they think you're talking about them. Because when they look in the mirror, they see that aspect of their parent inside of them. And they think that you're talking about them. I've been that child. I've heard this story. I've heard more from adult children of divorce than I think anybody else has. And I'm trying to be the microphone to say, and I'm a parent now myself, and I just want people to hear me be the microphone for these kids and what they say to me when they're in their 20s and 30s and starting their own families. My parents did not get invited to my wedding. They have not met my child. Because of the level of conflict that I was exposed to, the only way that I can protect my family is to have that removed. And they know that it's not because I'm mad at them. It's just because it's so toxic. I can't be involved in it. And it hurts my parents. And I don't want other people to have to deal with that. And it hurts me. I can't even begin to explain to you what it feels like to get married and have a kid and not have either of your parents there and both of them still be living on this planet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely something. And I think one of the things I've seen, and I'm curious to see if you see this in your practice, is that the younger the couples are, the more likely they're going to make concessions, the more likely they're going to be able to come to agreements. I see a lot of times I get clients who they're 40, 50 years old and they can't agree on anything because the dad's heard something about shared parenting, but the mom, hey, mom knows best, dad gets every other weekend at best. Where if I have a 24-year-old come in, they almost always say, I want to do 50-50, and usually the mom's not too far off of that unless there's some like DV allegations. Do you see that in the collaborative sphere too? Is it easier to work with younger people?
I think that we are entering into a new generation of people who, just like, myself, are adult children of divorce, and they don't want to put their kids through what they went through. And they're like, yes, we have to compromise here because that's what this is about. Because my parents didn't do that, and I want to do it different so that my kids don't deal with what I dealt with. Because the fact that I'm here and divorcing is actually part of the statistic. Like you're 200% more likely to get divorced if one of the couple, if their parents are divorced, you're 200% more likely to get divorced. It's kind of crazy.
That is, well, I guess that speaks to breaking the chain. That
Exactly.
these different things they occur generation after generation.
Exactly. And I mean, think about it though. Children model us. That's how we teach them to talk. That's how we teach them to eat. That's how we teach them to walk. So if you're handling a conflict situation, they're going to model how you're handling conflict, and they're going to then do that later in life. So the biggest thing that I say, this is your litmus test. Any situation that you're handling, do what you wish your kids would do if they were in that same situation.
It's fair. That I think that's a good guidepost for any parent going through the system.